Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Scott K. Recently, there has been a lot of changes in the keyboarding hobby. Good changes. With introduction of more entry-level options, more people are able to enjoy a great typing experience without going all out on a high-end board. Keyboards like the NK65, the Tofu series, have opened up doors to many future enthusiasts, while recent introduction of the GMMK Pro also shows how this hobby is going more mainstream. This inclusive trend continues, now with an affordable $130 60% offering from CannonKeys, introducing the Bakeneko, the monster cat. The Bakeneko was originally an open source keyboard designed by Katano. This keyboard is unique in the sense that it shares a similar O-ring mounted style as the coveted TGR X Singa Unikorn. CannonKeys reached out to me to test this pre-launch unit and give my honest feedback. Given the unique mounting style, I was very excited to see what a budget unicorn was going to be and jumped on the opportunity. For $130, you get a very nice carrying case, which houses all the necessary components to build the keyboard. You also get this nice polishing cloth with a Canon logo. The Bakeneko will be offered in 4 colors: black, white, aqua, and navy blue. The case I have is the aqua version. In order for CannonKeys to keep the cost low, they took a different approach to case manufacturing. Instead of the usual CNC milling, which employs a mill to carve the case out from a single block of aluminum, the Bakeneko is casted aluminum, similar to how an injection molded plastic case would be made. This finish isn't the most conducive to anodization, so CannonKeys had to paint the surface instead. What this means is that you won't be getting the ultra smooth finishing you expect from a milling process. You'll definitely notice some casting marks and finish imperfections, as you can see here. However, one thing I do want to point out is that these marks were kept inside of the case so that it won't be visible once the keyboard is complete. The kit also includes a no-nonsense hotswap PCB board, which is devoid of any RGB or lighting of any kind. You can see here how CannonKeys calls out the collaboration with Katano in the design of the Bakeneko. Once you flip the board over, you can see the usual sight of KO hotswap sockets as well. The Bakeneko kit is shipped with a nice FR4 plate with flex cutouts for that nice typing experience. Lately, I've been really enjoying the typing feel and the sound of FR4 plates, so this was a welcome surprise. Here is a closer look at the inside of the case with the edge supports and the cutout for the daughter board. This design is necessary for this keyboard since the extreme flex from the O-ring mount will cause interference of the USB cutout otherwise. Unfortunately, my pre-launch model was missing the daughter board, so I wasn't able to install it into this build, but you can see where the daughter board will install and how the case has a channel along the bottom for the JST cable. The JST cable then connects right here on the PCB. The kit also ships with snap-in cherry stabilizers. There's an important reason for that, and I'll cover that later. Also included are these rubber feet and the hardware for the daughter board to mount with. And finally, the 50A hardness silicone gasket. This gasket is what defines the uniqueness of the Bakeneko. Let's start the build by installing the feet onto the little indents on the bottom of the case. Then, I clipped and lubed the stabilizers before mounting them onto the PCB board. They're not screw-in, but overall they worked out fine. For this build, I opted to use the C3 Tangerine's smooth linear switches. Being a hot swap board, the install was a breeze. You just snap the switches onto the plate and the PCB. I do love the look of Tangerines. This is where the interesting O-ring gasket comes into play. This is a 50A Shore Hardness silicone gasket. 50A hardness is fairly soft, and I feel that there will be opportunities for you to try out different materials to control the flex of the board. Once you have the plate and the PCB ready to go, you hook the O-ring around the edge, below the plate and above the PCB board. Then you wrap the entire board with the O-ring until you get a nice snug fit around. Make sure you do this carefully to get even tension around the board. Here is a closer look at how the O-ring sits sandwiched by the PCB and the plate. This provides a friction fit into the aluminum case. Once you have the O-ring on, you drop the assembly into the case, angled towards the front like this. Then, you gently guide the O-ring down where the backspace stabilizer is sitting. This way, you ensure that the O-ring doesn't pop off when you press down in this area. Finally, you press down firmly and evenly across the entire plate and the PCB to ensure proper install and fitment. And that's it. The install is toolless and very simple. Now the keyboard is ready for some keycaps. When I first received the Aqua case, I was thinking, what keycaps will go with this color? Then I realized the glorious GPBT pastel colorway was the perfect match for this case. Here is a demonstration of the flex of this Bakeneko keyboard. The soft silicone gasket mounting system allows for extreme flexibility and bounce across the entire plate. This results in a very comfortable typing experience and a very clean and poppy sound as well. The disassembly process is simple as well. Just use a keycap remover to lift up the back, then gently lift up and out to remove the entire top portion. Now we go back to stabilizers. The Bakeneko can't really use screw-in stabilizers like the Duroc or the Zeo for the spacebar or the backspace. As you can see here, the screw housing doesn't allow for the gasket to fit properly and it'll cause a snag. Stick with the snap-in stabilizers for this board. Snap-ins also work fine if they're tuned properly as well. So what does this thing sound like? Let's do a quick typing test. Overall sounds pretty good, but you can notice some ping by the mods, so I pull out my tried and true zip and fit liner and fit it perfectly to size like this. Let's see how this changes the overall sound profile. Such even and fantastic sound. Now let's try this with some glorious Panda tactiles. I just love how this little keyboard sounds and feels. Once fully built, the Bakeneko has a decent heft to it. While not the heaviest 60% out there, it tips the scale at about 2.3 pounds. That's 2 pounds and 4.8 ounces to be exact. While there's so much going for this keyboard, it's not to say it's perfect. For example, if you pull the corner switches out, the O-ring snaps in and you won't be able to stick another switch in without disassembling the whole thing. It's an annoyance that you need to keep in mind. Perhaps there's a little peg you could add in here to prevent this from happening. In addition, I did notice that the FR4 plate provided with the Bakeneko isn't the tightest one out there. As you can see, as you start pulling out the keycaps, most of your switches will also fall out with it. Finally, the casting and painting process doesn't yield the smoothest results, so also keep this in mind when you buy this keyboard. So what is my final thought? After building and typing on the Bakeneko, I think we have the budget winner on our hands. This is a $130 aluminum case, O-ring gasket mounted keyboard with excellent sound characteristics and amazing typing feel. In this color combination, if BTS became a keyboard, this is probably what they'll look like, perhaps. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and I'll have more content for you in the future. Thanks.